Hi, fourth grade. I'm going to read Chapter 7 of Punished. It is called Scrambling for Answers. It sounded simple once I checked the definition in a dictionary. Take a word, use all the same letters to make another word, and that's an anagram, like slow and owls or teach and cheat. Some words have a bunch of anagrams. React, trace, crate, and cater were all anagrams of each other, and it could be done with more than one word. New York could be anagrammed into Warren Key, but how, I wondered, as I walked out of the library, was I supposed to put an anagram in the bag? I stared at the bag, trying to figure out how it worked. What in the world are you doing? I looked up when I heard Benedict's voice and jammed the bag into my pocket. I just have an errand to ruin, I said. I'll catch up with you later. I'll sketch up with Shoe later. No, I'll scratch up with who? Just forget about it. The more I talked, the worse it seemed to get. Benedict groaned and shook his head. You won't get rid of me just by making stinky jokes. If I can survive my Uncle Horace, I can handle anything. Besides, I know what's going on. You do? I felt a flash of guilt, like when Mom caught me trying to hide the vase I broke. Benedict nodded. You're looking for words again, right? Anagrams, I admitted, feeling relieved that he didn't know more than that. I explained what they were. What do you need them for? Same project. I started to walk down the street. Look, I'm in school with you all day. I've never heard of any project like this. He stepped in front of me. Not for school, I said, stepping around him. It was rough trying to keep all my answers short. Want help? He asked, stepping back in front of me. I was going to work on my report, but this would be more fun. No thanks, I said. It would have been great, but the professor had warned me not to get any more help. Some friend you are, Benedict said. He turned away and stomped away to the library steps. Wait, I called. He just kept walking. Right now, he was mad at me, but there was nothing I could do about it right now. I had to find 7 anagrams. I started thinking up the short words I could and seeing if they had anagrams. Place, no anagram I could find. Table, there was bleat. That was what they call the sound of a lamb, or kids make. I know that because my grandpa had a farm with sheep and goats, but I didn't think there was any such thing as a table bleat or a bleat table. I kept thinking scales, laces, west stew, lemon, melon, rat art. Rat art, I said. That could be a picture of a rat. I just hoped it didn't mean a picture that a rat drew. I'd never have a chance of finding something like that. But where could I find a picture of a rat? Haley liked to draw, and she loved animals. I ran home, went up to her room, and asked her if she had any drawings of rats. Haley nodded. Yep, I love to draw them. They're so cute. After digging around for a minute, she pulled out a nice picture of a white rat eating a hunk of Swiss cheese. You art so talented. Can I borrow the rat? I asked. Sure, you can have it. She handed me the picture and ran off. I pulled the bag out of my pocket. As I started to put the picture near the opening at the top, I felt it tugging like the bag was a giant magnet, and the drawing was a paperclip. I let go of the drawing and swoosh, it got sucked into the side of the bag. 1 down, 6 to go. I had a great idea. I went downstairs and dug through the box of games in the living room. We had one game called Scrabble that used wooden tiles with letters on them. Mom and Dad played it all the time. I started pushing the tiles around and looking for anagrams. Hey, tile and light were anagrams. I picked up one of the tiles. It didn't weigh much. I tried to put it in the bag, but it wouldn't go. Duh, I said as I realized my mistake. I'd done the same thing last year on a spelling test. No matter what it might say on food boxes and menus, the word wasn't spelled L-I-T-E. It was spelled L-I-G-H-T. But I kept playing around with the letters and came up with a bunch of ideas. Whenever I got one, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. Speaking of which, piece didn't have any anagrams that I could find, neither did paper. I figured I'd never find some of the things on my list, like a rock fork, since that didn't make much sense. Neither did door odor or shoe hose or glass slags. I figured a taco coat would be hilarious, but I knew there wasn't any chance I'd find one, and if I tried to make one, I was sure I'd mess up the whole kitchen. but I wrote down every single anagram I thought of just in case. A couple of times I got so close to good ones, it drove me crazy. Like with apple, you can use most of the letters to spell peel, but then I realized I had two problems. I had a letter left over, and I'd spelled the wrong kind of peel. After I had a long list, I ran around looking for things that would fit the ideas. My quest took me from the basement to the attic. There was a box of old dishes in the basement. I remember we used them when I was little, but Dad kept complaining that they were too ugly to eat off of. So Mom put them away. I hoped I remembered right. I searched around until I found the old box. Yep, I was in luck, and yuck, I had to agree with Dad about them being ugly. The plates were decorated with roses, lots of roses, petal plates. I thought flowers were made of petals. I picked up a saucer and held it near the bag. Swoosh! That's made 2. 5 to go. I ran through the rest of my list. The easiest one was a cat act. When I first thought of it, I wasn't sure I could find anything, but Dad had taken me to the circus last year, and he bought me a souvenir program. There was a picture of the lion tamer. That was definitely a cat act. I tore the page out of the program and let it get sucked into the bag. In the fruit basket, I found a cheap peach. The price sticker was still on it. Swoosh! I figured that was it for the fruit bowl, but then my eyes fell on something else. Mom had bought some tangerines, and according to the sticker, they were from Argentina. Wow, I said out loud as the letters clicked together in my head, an Argentine tangerine. I had to admit I was really proud of that one. That made 5, just 2 to go. I was on an anagram roll, and I knew exactly where I'd get the last 2. I went to the freezer and pulled out the bag of French fries. Mom always bought the same brand, Tater Treats. Not quite an anagram if you use the whole bag. There was an extra S, but take just one and you have a tater treat. Perfect. I pulled out the little still frozen pieces of potato and fed it to the bag. Swoosh! Then I went to my room. I had lots of old plastic toy animals, including a couple of horses. I dug through the box in my closet looking for the right one. There was this book about a horse that lived near the ocean, Misty of Chincoteague. I had a model of her. Since she lived by the seashore, that made her a shore horse. Hey, I'll see you, Misty, I said as I held her over the top of the bag. I'm a bit saddled. See you go, but Mom's been nagging me to get rid of my old stuff anyhow. Swoosh! Made it 7 anagrams. This sure had been easier than the oxymorons, or maybe I was just getting better at it. At least I didn't spend the next day in school all distracted because my mind was dancing through the dictionary, but I still tried not to talk in class. What do you think, Logan? Mr. Vernack asked me a couple of times during the day. I just shrugged. I wasn't going to take a chance that the puns would get me in more trouble. Benedict ignored me. I realized he was angry, but I hoped he'd get over it. Miss Glott, the student teacher, started to tell us how much she liked words. Does anyone know what an oxymoron is? She asked. My hand shot up. I yanked it back as quickly as I could. No way was I opening my mouth. She looked at me for a moment. Did you raise your hand? She asked. I shook my head and tried to look confused. I know, Benedict said. He smirked at me and gave the definition, the same one I'd told him just the other day. He even mentioned that part about it being Greek. That was fine if he needed to show off. I wasn't going to stop him. Impressive, Mr. Vernack said. Very impressive. He almost never repeated himself. I could see he was suddenly thinking about Benedict as a perfect student of the month material. Maybe Benedict would finally win that pizza he wanted so badly. Miss Glott went on to tell the class about oxymorons and anagrams, and a couple of other things. The coolest one was redundancies. Those were words you didn't need, like when people talked about a free gift. Since a gift is always free, you don't need the extra word. Another redundancy was unexpected surprise. A surprise is always unexpected. Also pre-recorded. Anything that's been recorded has obviously been pre-recorded. She pointed out that pre and previous were often redundant. I hoped my next task was redundancies, because now I have a head start, or a pre-start. Then Miss Glott told us some of her favorite words, including serendipity. That was what you call it when you find something you aren't looking for, kind of like being at the right place at the right time. I thought about the Argentine tangerine. Talk about serendipity. Of course, right now, I couldn't talk about anything. After class, I went across town to the library. What if he's not there? I wondered as I hurried downstairs to the reference section. Was there a word for when you don't find the thing you're desperately looking for? Neurodictibity, dipidiscerni, but he was right at the table. 7 anagrams, I said as I handed him the bag. He bounced the bag up and down in his palm for a second, as if weighing, then nodded and said, very good. What's next? I asked. Redundancies? No, nothing that easy. He reached into his shirt pocket, pulled out a handle of rubber bands, and dropped them on the table. They lay there, looking like exhausted worms. 7 palindromes, he said. What? I caught myself as I picked up the rubber bands. That should be a snap. I grinned and then groaned as I realized I was even making puns in my mind now. I headed up to the dictionary and looked up palindromes. It turned out they were very cool, but the more I thought about them, the more I realized they might not be that easy. Alright, that's chapter 7. Questions I have for chapter 7 are that I want you to tell me what are some anagrams, not in this book that you can think of. Also, some redundancies and oxymorons, because we've talked about oxymorons. So that's 3 things. Anagrams, redundancies, oxymorons, and then what is the definition of a palindrome? And I'll see you guys next time.